All right, so as a quick review, we're going to review the one-step equations. Right, x plus 4 equals 7. Remember, the opposite of addition is subtraction. So we would subtract 4 from both sides. Minus 4 from this side and minus 4 from that side, and our answer would be x equals 3. So here we have x minus 5 equals 8. So the opposite of this minus, the opposite of this subtraction, is going to be plus 5. Plus 5 from both sides. So that gives us x equals 13. Here we have multiplication. Remember, when the number and a variable are together, that's multiplication. And the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide by this number in front of x. So we're going to divide by 3 on both sides. And that's going to give us x equals 4. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Here, when it's a division, right, when it looks like a fraction, it's division. And the opposite of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4. I'm just going to use the point both sides by 4. And that'll give us x equals 8. Again, this is a review. The other thing I wanted to review with you is this. This is 4 plus x equals 5. This 4 here, it's positive 4. When there's no sign in front of the number, it's positive. So this is a positive 4, and the opposite of positive is negative. So the opposite of plus is minus, so you're going to minus 4 from both sides, which gives us x equals 1. Here you can see how this 5 in front has a negative sign. That's negative. So the opposite of this negative is positive, so we're going to add 5 to both sides. And that's going to give us x equals 9. I'm going to say it again. When there's no sign in front of a number like this 4 over here, there's no sign in front of it. That means it's positive. So if you don't see a sign, it's positive. When you see this sign and this 5 with this negative, that makes it negative and you have to add. When there's no sign, you have to subtract. All right, that's the review for the one-step equations. All we're doing now is an easy two-step. I have a whole page of just this type of problem where we have this together, 6x minus 4 equals 8. Remember, the 6 and x, they're together, so that's multiplication. But on these types of problems, the first thing you're going to do is move the number by itself. This negative 4 here, right, it's by itself. We're going to move it to the right. At the end of this problem, we want to have x equal to a number. So we have to move this 4 into 6. But the first thing to do is move this number. So the first step on these problems is you're going to either add or subtract. So the first step is to either add or subtract. So since this one here is minus 4, we have to do the opposite, which is going to be plus 4 on both sides. That's going to give us 6x equals 12. Now we're back to 6 and x. Remember this, when they're next to each other, this means multiplication, and the opposite of multiplication is to divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 6, and that's going to give us x equals 2. So one more time. Your first step in this whole page of problems that you're getting ready to see is going to be to move the number by itself over. In this case, it's minus 4. Move the number without the variable. And again, in this case, it's the number, the negative 4. We're going to add 4. And then after we move the number without the variable, you're going to have this multiplication here, and you're going to divide. So the first step is to either add or subtract. In this case, we added. And the second step is to divide. Always. For this whole page. You're going to either add or subtract, and then you're going to divide. It's the same 2 steps over and over again. Same 2. So, and we look at this one, 3x plus 4 equals 19. Again, the 3 and the x, that's with the variable. So we don't do that first. We add or subtract first. In this problem, since it's plus 4, we're going to minus 4 first from both sides. That gives us 3x equals 15, right? 19 minus 4 is 15. So after we add or subtract, our second and last step is to divide. So what are we going to divide? The number in front of the variable. So we're going to divide by 3 on both sides. X equals 5. So add or subtract first. In this case, we have to subtract this 4 to move it to the other side, and then divide. The same 2 steps. Right, subtract or add first. So you see this problem over here, the one that's 2x plus 8 equals 16. It's addition, it's plus 8, so we have to subtract first. We're going to subtract 8 from both sides. That gives us 2x equals 8. And then we're going to divide. After we add or subtract, we divide. And we divide the number in front of the x. So we're going to divide by 2. And that's going to give us, I ran out of room, but that's going to give us x equals 4. So over here, we're going to add or subtract first. Right, the number without the variable. So we have a 3x, but that's where our variable is. So we're not going to do anything with that. We're going to move this -7 first. Again, the 7 has a negative in front. So that means it's a -7. And in order to move it to the other side of the equal mark, we have to do the opposite, which is add. So we're going to plus 7 from both sides. That's going to give us 3x equals 22, which is a terrible number. And then we're going to divide both sides by the number in front of the x, which is 3. This is a decimal. It's my mistake, but I'm not making this video again. But it's the same steps over and over again. So here's some problems. 4 problems. I want you to work on these on your worksheet. I'm sorry, work on these on a sheet of paper in your notebook. And then when you're done with these 4, I want you to come raise your hand and let me check them. So do these 4 and raise your hand and let me check them, and then I'll give you the worksheet. But I want to check these first. And remember, you are going to add or subtract first and then divide. I know I keep on saying that, but it's important that you add or subtract first. So this yellow, right? This is plus 2. So you're going to move that first. This 3 is a positive 3. It doesn't have a variable. Move that first. This 7 is a -7. Move that first. And this 1 is you're going to do first. You're going to move the plus 1 over first. Move the number without a variable first. After you've moved it, then divide by the number in front of the variable. So if I use purple for your second step, this is your second step. Divide by -4. This is your second step on this problem. Divide by -3. This is your second step on this problem. Divide by 8. And this is your second step on this problem. Divide by 10. So do these problems in your notebook and then come get me.